All right, so a couple of things. I'm going to show this to you so that you've got this. All right, so what you do is you just make sure that you're going to see this.
Round mat.
I know, isn't that so fun? I even have a melt mat like that. Okay, so what you do is you come down into your bridge like this, and you're going to take one shoulder and kind of bring it towards your hip. So you kind of like bring yourself kind of already into an upper part of the bridge so that this is done. And two things you're going to do. You're going to kind of come out a little wide so that your toes are pointed outward. You're going to press your arms into the floor, and then you're going to try to bridge. And you're going to really try to get into the tuck so that you actually lose all of the crease, right? And you really have to push, and you're just going to hold here. And when you're here, I want you to try to really breathe into your pelvis and go into as much tuck as you can. That's going to both give a little bit of tension to the front thigh where you're weak or short, and activate the glute. So you kind of like start yourself into poses like this. You hold for about 10 seconds, and then nice and slow, you release it down. And I would do this motion at least 5 times, maybe even 10 for you. Again, really pushing, tucking, trying to get the mid ribs down, right? So I'm not way up here, right? I kind of keep the ribs in between my shoulder blades anchored, but I'm pushing into my feet. And I really want you to find a little bit more activation into the foot architecture. So this is going to be one of the moves you're going to do. Okay. Second thing that I want you to do is, and this one you're going to try with me in a second, is this is like such a 101 kind of a stretch, is that you bring your thigh up near a wall like this, and then you want to energize your opposite knee forward. You're going to do this on both sides, but more, I would do a 2 for 1. I would do right side more than left, because your right side is so short in the front. It's kind of catching you, right? So you're going to really try to reach. You can come up here to start, and same thing, you're just breathing. And what I think of is that my sternum is going forward, but my manubrium is trying to come up. So my collarbones are coming up. So I'm really bringing myself into that pose. And you just tuck. And so you're kind of driving a little bit of the force of your hip down to try to open up the front of the hip. You could then come down into poses like this, but this is going to decrease some of the tension that we're looking for. So you really want to try to bring yourself up. You could even put like a chair or something. But I really want you to think of activating your glute and squeezing the glute and holding this pose. And then you'll just kind of drop, and you're going to try it onto the other side. If you're feeling anything in your knee, you want to stop. Try to create.
I know I will be feeling money because I see what you're doing,
but we're going to try it. We're going to see. Yeah, exactly. We're going to see. So I want you to come down. I want you to try it, because we're going to see if we can clean it up. That way you'll have it. Okay. So let's go with the right leg first. So you're going to bring your left knee a little forward, and what you want to do is bring your hands down to the ground, and you're trying to bring your shin against the wall. Beautiful. There it is. Yep.
So I mean, I feel it, but it's
right. Now try to bring this.
Cramping in the foot against the wall, which is
chronic
cramping.
which is because you are really lacking joint range of motion. So you can go ahead and ankle flex if you need to, no problem. But what we want to do is bring this knee much further forward. Yeah, as far forward as you can. There you go. Okay, so now you want to really think sternum is like a headlight going forward. Manubrium is coming up. So I really want you to think about extending. Yep, and then you're going to drop, and you're going to try to tuck. And we're going to really try to drive the hip down. And so even if you almost think about pressing your shin maybe into the wall, and you really feel that pull, right? So this is something that you want to hold here.
I feel it. Okay, am I doing this right?
Yep, and then you just take a breath in, and again you want to really breathe in, and then really tuck. So try to activate the glute in the pose. There it is. Yep. Yep. And then you could, maybe take a few breaths there, and then you try to bring your knee forward a little bit more if you can. There it is. And then you try a little again. Yeah. So again, it's like you're trying to lift, shoulder blades are coming up. There you go. Yeah. So really think like even that goddess pose, that opening of the heart center, like lights coming through, beautiful. And again, you're driving that hip down. There it is. Okay, so now let's just see what happens on the other side. May not with your knee, we'll just see. Because you have like, that little tear in the medial meniscus is like from straining it. But if we decrease the strain, it'll just repair on its own. Right, so this knee's got to come forward, forward, forward. Try to drive this knee forward. There you go. Yep. Can you bring this knee in a little? Mm-hmm. Yep. So I really want you to think it's like a little internal rotation. You're trying to make the hips like headlights. Again, here's where we're getting cramped, right? Where you're like having trouble even driving the hip back a little bit. And again, really try to tuck, engaging the glute. Yeah, there's like a little bit of that weak link. You feel the difference between the two sides?
I'm still just trying to think through it, so when I just want to get it right.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I don't want you to think right or wrong. I just want you to think about driving a tuck. And I've got a couple of guys like that have good videos like this on YouTube. I can toss you out one just to like give you some easy access to something, right? Yeah. So again, opening up the chest, driving the hip forward, and then really tucking. Yes. So that's one length technique you've really got to nail a little bit more often. This is really a tough one for you to be in, okay? So you could go back and forth. Maybe you take a minute on each side, 2 minutes on each side, and then you do a second round. You might want to do 2 on this side and 1 on this side eventually, but I would actually carry both of them, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number 1. Okay, so now number 2, go ahead and lie on your back again.
Okay.
And I just want you to try that bridge technique, right? So you're gonna lie on your back.
Okay.
You
Legs
put your,
out like this.
Yep. So you got feet wide, toes out a little bit, and you want to find the ball of your big toe.
Got it.
Of course, that's kind of again a little troublemaker in that.
Okay.
And I kind of tell you drive the arms down.
Like this.
Yep. And I want you to think like as if you're trying to draw the back of this shoulder toward this hip. Just, bring it, and you feel how that brings it, and then same thing, this one over here, so same thing. And then once you have those arms down, you push, and now you really want to focus on tucking. So pubic bone is going to curl, and you've got to lift those hips up. Yeah, we're trying to drive the knee pressure forward, trying to drive the weight into the toes, trying to create that push. Yeah, and now again, you can just keep pushing and squeezing, there it is. You feel that little shake? That's what you're waiting for. And then nice and slow, you come on down. You just peel yourself all the way back down. The crease comes back in. There's your crease. Yep, and then the sit bones kind of take that width back in. Yep, and then just try it one more time. Yep, so you push under the arms. You bring the hips up. You get up as high as you can go, mid-shoulder blades, wide shoulder blades to the ground, right? So not arching between the blades, but now really tuck, drawing the pubic bone in. Yep, and driving those knees forward, finding the weight into the toes. Yep, energize and push. There it is, boom, you feel it. Yep. Yep. And then go ahead and release it all the way down. So that, exactly. So that little shake you get, that's what you're looking for. So that's called neurological reintegration.
Right.
You got lazy muscles in the glutes.
Right.
You activate them, it'll kind of jump a little bit. Your brain's like, tuk, 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 tuk.
Right.
But that's it. It's kind of like reigniting the pathway. So usually you can do 4 to 6 of them.
Okay.
And really pushing in through the range, and that should kind of get you into a place where we've got some glute activation.
Okay. Awesomeness.
All right.
Thank you.
One more thing though,
Okay.
stand up, because your ankle's not rolling, and that to me is concerning me for really getting this knee back on track. So you can use anything, Lisa. I'm just putting this down.
I have that. I have all these things.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to do two different ones. Okay, number 1 is you put all of your toes against the roller.
Okay.
I'm faking.
Only on one foot.
Only on one foot. And then all you do is you just stay here and you just draw your knee into a forward motion. Same idea though, you should not feel that in your knee. If you do, it's because the knee is buckling in. You've got to draw your knee over the second toe. And you're really trying to feel for this type of mobility in here. Go knee forward more.
Yeah, and see, so there's a limitation for you here, right? If that's as far as you can go.
Never do it.
Yep. Well. So here's just step number one, right? Is you just kind of like find that bend, and then same thing. After you hold it for a few seconds, you let it go, and then same thing. You roll into it. So you're thinking about getting that. And I'm going to do a little ankle mobilization before we're done with you, because that I think I can make a little improvement on just here. Okay. So that's step number one. Step number two, you can come a little bit further back. You got your same foot on the, instead of doing it this way, you keep the foot, you try to keep your heel down, and you step over, and you stay tall. And this is going to drive ideally a little more medial in the calf. So if you really send the heel down, ideally what you'll feel is sort of a drive through here.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally.
And so this where you're getting shortened,
Right.
and I can't wait to see what the left leg feels like, or left leg look like. When we get short here, this kinetic chain comes all the way up to the opposite shoulder. Yeah, so that's one of the ones we want to kind of reignite. Now, in this pose, if you can, go ahead and bend your knee, but try to keep the heel on the ground. Yeah. And then you just slowly come on back up again. Yeah, and try that one more time. So really think, though, your knee is like a headlight. So don't let it come over this toe. Let it come over the middle toe. So not the big toe. Yeah, it's coming over that second and third toe. There it is. There it is. Better. Okay, so let's see what happens on that left leg. Yeah, look at how that ankle kind of swings out a little bit, right? So really trying to find the whole ankle drawing in. There it is. Yep, sending that heel down, finding that.
So tight.
So tight.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, honestly, Lisa, like this right hip's one thing. This is a real problem. This is so short. Like there's zero, you like trying to bend your knee is like an idea more than a thing here, right? Like there's really no breaking point, right? So ideally, once we're in this pose, right, we should be able to kind of get a little interplay in the knee. Yeah, exactly. And what you do is you actually crease like if I crease my hip, I get tons of knee bend, right?
Okay, so
but what I want to
crease
do,
my hip. I see.
I actually want you to tuck your pubic bone just like we did in the bridge, draw
Yeah,
your
it's
navel
tucked,
up,
yeah.
and then see if you can bend your knee. Right. Real tough there, right? And so all this medial,
The tightness
is-
behind my leg is like out of control.
yeah. So that's.
Despite every stretching exercise I've ever done.
Mm-hmm. Well, and isn't that funny how we become kind of segmentally hyperflexible? We become strong in some areas, weak in others. Okay, so to help you with this one, this is an interesting one. Is you're going to take your big toe only against the corner. And in the same idea, I want you to bend because remember you said I got a cramp in my foot on that right side?
I always get a cramp.
So this is one of the troublemakers. So come back a little bit further with your foot. So the ball of your big toe is almost being driven into the ground. The other toes you want to set here. And then it's that same idea, keeping your heel on the ground. You're really going to drive your knee forward. And where ideally you're going to get a little more of the pull is on the arch. I don't know if you'll find that yet. So again, just opening some of the tissue tension that carries the foot up to the hip. This is going to be part of it. Yep. And then you could also try that same thing, keeping this toe here. You could try to step this foot forward, and it's the same type of principle, trying to open up the hip without getting that pelvis to go back. Remember, what we're looking for here is to tuck. Yes, and then bend. Oof. Nice. Yep. And now you could even stay nice and tall here. Tuck the pelvis and just drive the hip forward, but keep the knee straight. And can you gain that same tension in the foot?
I gotta go more forward.
There you go. Yep. Just try to find the line, right? We just want to open up some of the tissue tension. Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
I want to see what happens with that left foot. So go over to the other side of the. So again, ball of the big toe, come on down. Yep, so you're really looking for real extension of the toe while the other toes stay down. And then same thing is just trying to find the knee bending, driving that forward. And again, see if you can sort of find the lift, and then the bend, to try to get that tension in the foot. You're probably going to get hung up on the calf on this side more than anything, but And then same thing, keep the toe, and try to keep these toes on the ground. Yeah. And then bring this foot over.
Let me just figure out what I'm doing here. So, should I be pressing more on my right foot? Does it not matter?
No, I mean, like when you've got your foot here, I mean, really what you're looking for is to try to drive the toe in. Can you kind of see how my foot sort of rolls inward to try to find the arch getting tension? And once you sort of feel it in your foot, then you drive the leg back. And again, I want you to tuck and try to push your toe into the roller. You're trying to drive
I'm doing that.
the toe extension. You're really trying to mobilize the big toe. Where again, I think you're losing a little bit of that motion. And so this is part of a very long line up to the pelvic bone. Right? And so you just kind of open up that.
Am I tucked properly?
Yeah. I mean, you could probably even come more this way. And then again, sending the push. Yes. There you go. Okay, so those are some
And
like
when I do that, it feels very tight here.
I bet. I mean, again, because like this is a spiral line, so the arch of your foot is coming through this whole side of the body, right? The line kind of spirals
That's where
around.
I'm feeling the spiral.
Yeah,
I'm
and
feeling
comes-
it in the
Yep.
left
Yep.
glute back.
Yeah. Okay, so those are your three. I said two, but that would like be three things to work on. Okay, I mean I could give you more, but I feel like you give somebody too much, there's nothing to do. Okay, so that's your